so much for your patience so far, and I hope you enjoy this behind-the-scenes look at Overwatch 2.
Okay, let's do this.
All of our players at home, they want to see one of the new maps that we've never talked about before.
Really? I can just talk about anything that I want to?
Yes.
You're serving this up to the guy that is like unintentionally leaked information in past interviews.
You can do it officially now.
Okay, so one of the maps that I'm most excited for in Overwatch 2 is our Rome map.
This is what I'm talking
We always
about,
want Overwatch to feel like this globe-trotting adventure for our players. So we're having a lot of fun coming up with the Overwatch version of Rome.
We wanted a very romantic, sort of this powerful feeling of old world architecture.
Can we reveal more maps?
Yes, Scott.
Okay, so they're definitely going to push the engine that they have.
Like, is there an artified? Like, let's pick an artified one.
I know what map I want to talk about. It's the one that I just get super excited about. New York City.
And last time they did that,
New York City
we had an insanely
is
long
just an amazing Overwatch location.
We're really striving to make it as authentic as possible while still putting this Overwatch spin on it.
There's a lot of amazing buildings and architecture pieces that just, especially for artists, stands out a lot. And they usually use this kind of Art Deco style from the 1920s, 1950s.
We started in an area that's a little bit like the Village. There's some smaller shops there. There's a fire station, little pizza places and things that people that are familiar with New York City will either recognize or maybe see the reference that we're trying to make with some of our different locations.
One of the more shocking changes that we've been exploring in Overwatch 2 PvP is a change to the tank role entirely. That's applied to all of the tanks. We want to try to make them more toe-to-toe brawlers and less characters that just stand back and protect other people.
So, for example, for Reinhardt, we've given him 2 charges of Fire Strike, so he can throw Fire Strikes a lot more aggressively and more often.
I mean,
also,
to be honest,
charge, he's able to cancel it now, and you can steer it more aggressively, so you can, not quite turn a corner, but you can definitely more accurately pin targets. And because you can cancel it, it allows you to use it much more aggressively and really go after those key targets without feeling like you're going to sacrifice
might be overpowered.
All of your positioning, everything to get there. He's almost more terrifying now with his be able to unleash his full arsenal more often than kind of just being the guy with a shield.
Exactly.
The changes to Reinhardt
She's like
that
a
we're
massive
trying,
DPS character right now.
They might not shift. That's just the reality. But the changes that we're trying right now are to try to embrace more of that instinct that players have when they want to play a big burly character that looks aggressive and feels like it should be aggressive.
Shortly after BlizzCon, we spun up this group, our Combat Field Group, to really just work on what happens when a player holds the trigger.
We're putting a ton of effort into looking at all of our characters and trying to give them even a more visceral weapon feel.
From sound to VFX to animation to the design of these units, all new sounds for a lot of our weapons in the game, and a whole new sound system that's driving it. And we didn't just level up a unit, we leveled up the rest of the game.
When we first started working on Overwatch, we spent quite a bit of time working on gunfire sounds and just general combat feel to make it feel really awesome. We're revisiting pretty much everything, nothing's off the table, so we're looking at even kind of small things such as quick melee attacks that every hero has. So they have kind of new audio pass and a new kind of feel and visual effect when you hit things.
One of the bigger efforts we're undertaking for Overwatch 2 is what we're calling our Weapon 2.0 Sound Pass. What this is a big overhaul to the weapon systems in the game. That means the way the gun feels in your hands. You could feel the ammo running out as you're getting lower on the clip. We've really tried to amplify those sounds to better encapsulate the gameplay and the gunplay that comes with Overwatch 2.
Isn't that from Call of Duty a little bit? Ooh.
Another key to the weapons was getting them to feel like they're in the
ladies and
environment.
gentlemen.
This meant working with convolution reverb. It's a new system that we've implemented into Overwatch. It's a way that we can capture the acoustics of an environment and transport it onto the sounds that we're using. So we went and captured tales of guns in different environments through our weapon shoots.
Lan, our lead tech artist on the environment side, very early on our own free time, made a prototype of a sandstorm on the Temple of Anubis map.
And at the time, we didn't know what we wanted to do with that, but it looked awesome.
We looked at it and went, oh my God, we absolutely have to do this.
So we put some new technology in place that allows us to do this dynamically.
It feels like the second iteration of Levolution in
mission, suddenly this sandstorm
Battlefield,
or heavy weather would show up.
It made the
in Battlefield 4 they
so
came
much
out
more
with
alive.
Levolution.
There's a sunset, daytime,
Change
nighttime,
with weather.
but depending on where you are in the world, these look different. California or Hollywood would have what we call a California sun. In New Bonny, there's a great African sun that happens there. You start to get a sense of space and mood. This is what really brings the levels to life.
For me, the dynamic world's exciting. Just seeing these dramatic landscapes, the wind and the atmosphere blowing by. It's a much more cinematic experience for the player.
Before you start a mission, you look at a map. It's nighttime in Necropolis, or there's a sandstorm in Necropolis. Players can make some comp choices based on knowing this information. Characters like Hanzo or Widowmaker start to be a little more valuable because they have abilities that allow them to see through the sand more clearly.
There you go. Finally, the fucking
Are we gonna
Widow
talk about any of the
ult is going to be
types of objectives
really,
in
really
hero
important.
missions?
Yeah, let's talk about the objectives. Players are being asked to do different things from one hero mission to the next so that they all feel really fresh to the player.
For example, we have Gather and Return, where you're trying to go and grab these different canisters to kind of safeguard them so they don't go off and affect the population in a negative way. It creates this really cool tension in the world where, on the one hand, you're trying to split up and go grab all these canisters to be as efficient as possible, but at the same time, now you're having these sort of special enemy units spawn that are really difficult, and if you kind of get caught by yourself, it turns into a pretty bad situation really quickly, and it feels extremely cooperative and like a very different way to interact with the Overwatch universe.
interesting.
We're experimenting with all sorts of ideas, and just internally we have names like Wall of Death, Scavenger Hunt,
Wall of Death,
and
yeah.
Kill Quest, and all these
Kinda
new
like the Battle Royale,
mechanics and enemies for people to
It's an element
experience.
from Battle
Players
Royale,
will be able
of
to
course.
jump in night after night, play different hero missions, and then work through the progression system, leveling up their heroes.
This is going to be sick, dude.
At BlizzCon in 2019, we started to talk about progression, and we showed the very early version of our talent system, which I think was really cool. We had that one talent where like Nate became the rolling snowball, which was a big hit. We've really blown that system out.
I'm real excited about talents. You can play the same hero in so many different ways. Now with the skill tree, you can have fun every night doing different things and kind of experimenting.
Yeah, the talent system is like really deep and rich, and every single hero has different trees. You might open up 76's tree, and as you're leveling and picking new talents, you're starting to feel your hero change.
That is cool.
We've had some pretty hilarious versions of the healing one.
I don't know how they're going to balance all
biotic
this.
Field travels with him.
Oh, holy
It also
shit.
repulses enemies. We called it the snowplow build, where 76 is like running through spaces, pushing enemies away from them.
Area effect res their whole team at once at super long range, through walls. It's been a ton of fun, kind of like mad scientists making all this stuff.
You're all used to using these kind of kinetic weapons like Soldier 76's rifle or
Don't give me
fire
hope, dude.
attack like what
Don't give me
Flame
hope.
Strike does. As soon as you start to mutate these things with talents, all of a sudden maybe you're doing freeze damage or electrical damage. But it gives the animators a bunch of crazy opportunities. You know, the animations are going to change to show them freezing and shattering. And if you shock someone with a lightning attack, they can shake in place and stop, maybe chain to other enemies.
Really amazing to be fighting an artillery unit, and you can see the guns on the side, and as you're shooting
This
the guns,
looks
they're actually
really, really
visibly
cool,
taking
dude.
damage, and then you can blow them off, and it reacts and kind of stumbles to the side, and really makes you feel like you're there, and it's super fun.
In a lot of the stuff we've showed so far, you're fighting null sector. These are evil killing machines intent on marching you down. The way you're going to stop them is by shooting them, and we want to make sure
Duh.
that feels responsive and visceral. Really making sure that when they take a hit, it feels like their whole body has been punched, almost like hit by a truck. That's what really sells this fantasy that you're playing these superheroes. One of the cool pieces of technology that we created was what we call chain hit reactions. Oftentimes you'll find null sector bunched up, marching maybe a half a dozen units abreast. You
Nice.
expect if you shoot one, they're gonna knock into their buddies. So we make that happen. Turns out it's really fun too.
Hopefully that doesn't work that way in PvP though. You're gonna get something mental about that. New hero.
One of the
looks.
things that we showed last year at BlizzCon was the new looks for our heroes. The theory kind of going in was like, you want to preserve the essence of your hero, but also kind of show that a hero's evolved and kind of changed and moved forward. One of the things that we wanted to update on Pharah was her visor. Instead of being completely opaque and reflective, we tried a little bit more of a transparent approach, and being able to see through it a little bit now allows us to see some more of her emotions. Reaper was actually the one
really
that was
pushing this
very
engine,
excited
dude.
to work on, because I could see a lot of potential in how we can integrate his cloak and his cowl and his armor, and how we can make all those shapes really sing within that classic, Reaper silhouette.
It's been really great to see this collaboration grow and develop. The story is just a little more integrated into our missions than it ever really has been before. All the available heroes get dialogue for a given mission. We have NPCs, we have multiple hero choices.
We have all sorts of events that are happening that are driving players to interact with each other or parts of the environment. There are other characters.
The world of Overwatch is this bright, shiny future. So how do you take that bright, shiny future and create conflict in it? How dark can the world of Overwatch go?
The different challenges that these characters are going to have to overcome in Overwatch 2 are things that they haven't ever dealt with before or dealt with on this scale.
Because the scale of this story is so huge, it takes place over the whole world basically. It just requires
I honestly feel like the story
constant
is
refinement
the biggest part of why the game is delayed at the
We go
moment.
to storyboards. The storyboards get crafted
Or delayed.
with the edit. From there, it'll go to a
You know what I
previs
mean.
department where
Still
they'll start to flesh
far
out in
from
3D.
pronto.
Once we've kind of figured out our camera work and our cinematography, that'll then go to the animation department. And then we end up going right into the game engine.
One of our challenges was to figure out how to integrate this story and this narrative with the gameplay.
It allows story moments in missions that interact with the environment, that interact with our characters.
The new tech, the new abilities
See, so
that we
it's
have
kinda
now
like
are
Levolution
allowing us to push
from
our storytelling
Battlefield.
farther than we could have previously.
What's also really powerful about Choreo is that, if somebody has an idea, they can mock things up really quickly.
We got to show the Widowmaker making this awesome introduction.
They're getting
In case he
really
was able to
comfortable
quickly
with
put
the
a
engine,
really rough
which is
prototype
really
in
good.
Choreo. And Philip would come in and on the fly, he's making quick changes. They've play tested something that would normally take weeks. It was done in like a matter of days.
I'm expecting
Each story
problems with the
mission
game
has
engine,
its
dude.
own custom map
Oh
built
my
for
God,
it.
look
And
at
these
this
maps
map.
are absolutely gigantic.
India is one of our biggest maps, and it's a fun map because it has a few story beats that we've taken from recent comics and characters in the game.
We've written a history for each city so that the cities feel lived in. And I think that informs the artists so that they know what it is that the city has been through.
Poggers,
It
dude.
was our chance to show
Poggers.
his workshop. We created a space that kind of fits his height. So there's, step ladders and scalable tables. We designed the space as if we were Torb, Molten steel is pouring out of walls. It's pretty epic when you walk into it. Toronto is
Kinda feel like
under
Iron
siege by
Forge.
null sector. When the players arrive here, there's a dynamic snowstorm. So as you make your way through the level, the snow is slowly building up. Suddenly by the end, the characters are caught in this gigantic snowstorm and they must fight their way through.
In Overwatch 2, we want to give you choice to be able to play this character or that character. So we're designing a lot of systems around how their relationships develop over the course of the story missions in the campaign.
We've been developing what we hope is one of the best stories ever. There's some key story moments that I'm really excited about, and I really can't wait to see how people react to it.
There's going to be a lot of crying, dude. I can feel it already. In conclusion,
We've been talking about the game, about this universe. I know you all love it so much.
Right now, we can sit down and have a night of Overwatch 2 and have it be a really fun experience. And I think we need some more time till we can say it's perfectly polished in the way that we want it.
We're really trying to tell this epic story.
In
Man,
order
this is going to be
make a
so
game
sick.
great, it takes time, energy, collaboration.
We have just an incredibly professional team of designers and artists and engineers.
We just love bringing this world to you guys. So many cool characters. It's just a blast working on it.
Our goal is for Overwatch 2 to be the worthy successor to the first game, to be the next evolution, and to be a true sequel.
We have big plans. So thank you for sticking with us.
We're gonna cross the finish line, and I know it's gonna be awesome.
I hope people just end up loving playing it over and over.
That's what we want to try and capture. I'm jumping in, I'm playing. Let's go be heroes.
Definitely, dude. Nice. That was good. That was good. I really enjoyed that. They didn't announce anything for the current one. I'm still gonna play it. I mean, duh. But would have been nice to just see, yeah, just a little bit, right? Just a touch.
Dolby is a proud partner of BlizzCon Online. Watch Shock versus the World in...
Listen, Dolby. I don't give a shit.